even for me, I'm like, I've just thought like, look, you know what it is? The last 3 months you haven't been doing what you could. The last couple of months you haven't been doing what you could. Maybe you just got a bit sloppy thinking, look, I'm averaging like whatever. I'm taking like 5-6K a month. That's enough for me. But then I think if you're not moving forward, you're going to start moving backwards. And I think that's what started to happen for me. I've moved backwards from not climbing forward every day. Lost a bit of fire just getting comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. So the concept of taking trading seriously perhaps is not just something that new traders need to hear, but perhaps more mature traders need to hear as well, to keep lighting the fire, that like pilot light, to make sure that you're still taking it seriously every day. Welcome back, everybody, to the short bites of trading EQ that Stephen Johnson and I are doing. This is a 4-part series. Today is part 3. And today we're going to be talking about when is it time for you to actually take your trading more seriously than perhaps you do now. And since our listeners are primarily newbies, I think it's a great topic. We've done two recordings before this. One is being trigger happy versus gun shy. The second episode is about over trading to stay stimulated. And today we're going to kind of dive into when is it time to really take this as serious as a heart attack. That's the metaphor So when do you think, Stephen's the time to take this as serious as a heart attack?
I was always depends what you want, right? I mean, I don't think there's such a thing as a half-hearted. I'm going with the same metaphor. Don't think there's half a thing. I don't think there's such a thing as a profitable half-hearted trader. Yeah. I don't think they exist. I think trading is an outrageously difficult game. It's outrageously difficult. I've been reminded. Sometimes on Twitter, I've said it's easy, and people have come to me and said, Stephen, you complained for 4 years about how hard it was, and now you've made it. You forgot. Wow. You forgot.
Wow.
You forgot how hard it was. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's outrageously hard. And it can't be taken lightly, and it can't be done half-hearted, and it has to be taken seriously at all times. And if you're not taking it seriously, you can bet your bottom dollar there's 99 other people who are ready to climb in your shoes and take your money. So that's the best way I can describe it.
You know, I think it is the most competitive game in the world, with the smartest people in the world involved in it. So I think it always confuses me that those that think, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk, and especially those who perhaps are unfamiliar with it, right? Those mom and pops now that all got Robinhood on their iPhone. You know, there's a gal that I know who works in a little store here. She's never been interested in finance or trading or investing for that matter. And yet she's like, yeah, I'm trading Kim on Robinhood. And I'm like, really? So you're seeing people that have never kind of gone into these waters, kind of jumping in to the deep end overnight. And I'm sort of like, wow, nobody seems, as often as it used to be, nobody seems to have as much caution or respect that this actually may not be a game like, I don't know, you name an iPhone game, because I don't play them. So.
Yeah, I don't play them either. But I think the problem with trading is it's the opposite of the restaurant business. So in the restaurant business, if you've got a complaint, you'll tell 10 people. And if they actually did a good job, you'll not tell anyone. And it's the opposite in trading. If you're a novice trader and you take a few trades and they go your way, you'll tell 10 people. But if you're a novice trader and you lose your money straight away, you're not really as inclined to want to talk about it, especially with strangers or people that you don't know. You might tell a close friend, like, messed up. But you're not going to tell a bunch of people. You're not going to tell 10 people. And I think that kind of happens with trading. Like everyone talks about how they made money and how they're good at it. And they remember all the wins, but they don't remember the losses. And it creates this kind of social, I don't know if it's a construct or whatever, but it creates this thing where it's a misguided belief where people think it's easier than it is. And it's not. It's the hardest thing in the world with the most competitive people in the world. And you can earn as much money as you want, depending on how good you are. And we're talking billions. We're talking millions and billions. If you're good enough and you put the work in, millions and billions.
Yeah. It's pretty enticing to have that opportunity. So I think that alone is almost the best argument to enroll somebody in taking it very seriously. Like if you want to experience an opportunity to move into profitability at any kind of serious monetary level, then wouldn't it make sense that you probably have to get as sophisticated as possible, as experienced as possible, as disciplined as possible? Because if not, it's just like going to Vegas and throwing your $600 at the crap tables to just see what happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think trading's the only game that directly rewards talent and hard work. It's the only game. Other things like work or maybe sports, but particularly corporate environments, favor who you know.
Yeah.
The favor how well you get on with people.
Yes. So
but
true.
there's no the market's a good friend to me today. There's none of that. There's no such and such noses. So I'm gonna do well today in the markets. Yeah. It's purely based on how hard you work and how good you are at it, how much of a natural ability you have at it.
Yeah. Do you think platforms like Wall Street Bets and having Robinhood and all the other apps that are coming up behind them, do you feel that perhaps has misled some of the more new traders into thinking that this is different than what it really is?
Not sure. I think that what Wall Street Bets do or have done, quite rightly, is convince people that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity where 90% of traders lose, but we'll all win this time. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people that did win that time, and all of the hedge funds lost and they won. Mm-hmm. So maybe they did flip the odds. Maybe 40% won instead of only 5% that would normally win. Maybe 40% of Wall Street Bets won. I have no idea, but
did they win, Stephen? If they stayed in, if they're still holding,
if they bought at the bottom, they're probably still winning. Yeah, probably still winning. But it's like anything. I mean, in any of the .com, like in the .com boom or the tulip mania or any of the significant booms, if you're around at that time, you'll win. Yeah, you'll win. But the problem is that when the markets crash, everyone loses again. And it's can you be the smart one that recognizes that they're in a bubble and not be greedy? But no, I mean, Robinhood 95% will lose. Wall Street Bets, maybe it's a one-off and more than 5%, 10% won. But yeah.
You know, I think part of me wants to, just encourage people to consider listening to the most successful traders and what they all have to say. And it seems to me that they're all saying the same thing when it comes to discipline, when it comes to time spent watching patterns, that across the board, they all say has to be a legion of hours dedicated to studying, to watching.
It's a weird one because I think it's a tough one. Discipline, you can read books, you can create a loss journal, you can follow a course, but a lot of it's just really owning that and really having respect for yourself to say, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And if I don't, when I put my head on the pillow, I'm going to be a bit disappointed in myself tonight. Or if I can't trust the word of what many other people say, like, say you've got a lot of friends and they'll say one thing and they'll let you down. If I can't trust them, at least let me trust myself. Like, at least if I can't trust myself to stick to what I say, who can I trust?
Yeah. Agreed.
And a lot of it with discipline is just really being true to your word and true to yourself.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say if somebody came in and let's say they're just 6 months in and they're like, oh shit, this is much harder than I thought. What would you say to them about that pivot point or fork? They're kind of at a fork in the road. Do they want to start to realize, oh, they may be at that point now where they're like, okay, this is a much more serious game than I thought it was. This is not going to be a cakewalk. What would you say to them they need to ask themselves before they commit?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's never been about the profits for me. It's never been about that. It's about loving studying, loving the game, loving what I'm doing, excited to wake up every morning and do it again.
Yeah.
Profits are exciting. Profits are they're a product of hard work. They're the result of hard work. They're the recognition factor of it. But what I would say is, I mean, it shouldn't be a question. It shouldn't really be too much of a question, because it's more of a question of, am I enjoying what I'm doing right now? And yeah, is it hard? Yeah, it might be hard, but do I enjoy it? Am I enjoying this process? Am I going to enjoy figuring out what to do next? If it's really difficult, am I going to enjoy figuring it out for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, then keep going. And if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then stop. I mean, if you don't enjoy studying, then you've got a lifetime of it, because that's the game, a lifetime of study.
Yeah, that's, I think, a really good point. I do think some newbie traders think, oh, well, if I just study for maybe a couple of years. And what I just heard you say is that studying is part of the entire process for the rest of your trading life.
Look, I mean, even for me, I'm like, I've just thought, like, look, you know what it is? The last 3 months, you haven't been doing what you could. The last couple of months, you haven't been doing what you could. Maybe you just got a bit sloppy, thinking, look, I'm averaging like whatever. I'm taking like 5-6K a month. That's enough for me. But then I think if you're not moving forward, you're going to start moving backwards. And I think that's what started to happen for me. I've moved backwards from not climbing forward every day. Lost a bit of fire just getting comfortable.
Yeah. So the concept of taking trading seriously perhaps is not just something that new traders need to hear, but perhaps more mature traders need to hear as well, to keep lighting the fire, that like pilot light, to make sure that you're still taking it seriously every day.
It's tough. It's tough because drive and motivation it's something inside. And we've talked before about, can it be garnered? Can it be built? Or is it just intrinsic? We've talked about this before, but it's hard to light that fire when the fire's not lit. If there's not enough embers burning, put some paper on and give it a bit of blow some oxygen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can't be lit. What's the Bruce Springsteen lyric? Can't light a fire without a spark, but baby will just be dancing in the dark.
That's right.
It's true.
That's right.
It's true.
It's so true.
Can't sometimes light that fire.
You know, I think when we talk about a trader taking it seriously, that to me represents a person who's not only willing to give it the time, energy, and bandwidth, but also a curiosity around understanding what the market is, why it moves, how it moves. Like, these are all pieces of what I think are in place for those that take it seriously. So I just want to say to those who are listening, do you really want to understand it? Do you really want to get why it moves, how it moves, what the underlying factors are? If that curiosity isn't that sparked for you, I think it might be hard for you to take it seriously.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it reminds us, I had a call with a guy a little way back, and he was just complaining about how tough it was. So, it's just so hard. And I'm just not getting it, and I'm making these mistakes, and it's quite isolated. And he's like, it's just like, it's so tough. And
How
I was
long?
just like,
How long had he been at it for?
about a year, probably 9 months, 10 months. And I was just like, it's like, dude, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to hear the bad. I don't want to hear. We've got a call together. We've got some time to speak to each other. Like, you've got me time. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm here to give you advice.
Yeah.
Why stop talking about like the problems and start asking us questions about the solutions. Like, I'm like, it's all about attitude. And it's like, you should be excited to confront these problems. You should be curious to find the answers to these problems. Shouldn't be beaten down. Everyone gets beaten down. Everyone does.
Yeah.
But for me, you get beat down for 5 minutes and then you get extremely excited to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
so is it possibly that, is that person perhaps a good example of that being appropriate time for them to really question whether this is the, future for them? Maybe they can't get themselves into the headspace. Maybe for them, it is just too hard. Maybe it just sounds to me like that person is surprised how hard it is. And that's like a flag to me, a red flag. Like, didn't you know this was going to be hard?
Yeah, but it's like when people say, but I'm really like above average clever. And I'm like, and I was really good at this and I'm really good at that. So I should be naturally good at this. And I'm like, no, hold up. This is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. This is the hardest thing ever. Hardest thing ever. And it's not a measure of your intelligence. It's a measure of your resilience. So don't be dropping I'm above average intelligence and I did well here and I did well here. I don't care. I care about how resilient you are. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
I care about if you're a can-do person, a doer or a don'ter.
Yeah.
Because if you're a don'ter, you're not going to make it. You've got to be a doer with resilience.
Yeah, for sure. There's a great quote that I've used, I'm sure, before that says, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
And it's true. And look, I might even fail in a couple of years. I might even blow up. And my attitude is like a crazy resilience, very can-do attitude. Always will get back up. Yeah. And I might even fail. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't think so. I hope not, but I might.
Yeah. And so that resiliency, I guess, is actually perhaps then a gateway, like perhaps that concept of, okay, are you somebody who's resilient? And I always like traders to look at their life outside of trading. Do you see yourself in your overall life and the choices you've made to be somebody who has been resilient? And if the answer is no, I have not really been that resilient, perhaps that's a cautionary flag.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that though, because I remember I was in a bout of therapy a few years ago. Yeah, best woman I've ever spoke to. Like, helped us tremendously to this day. Yeah, it was crazy. That was, I literally had a sudden onset of anxiety every day. Didn't even know what it was. Went to the doctor. They're like, you've got anxiety. I was like, what's that? It's like, what's anxiety? I don't know what it is, but I just feel all these things. And they're like, that's anxiety. But anyway, one thing that she said to me, which is one of the best things any psychologist has ever said to us, if it's psychologists, I think they are. I said, you know what it is? I said to her, I don't think I can do trading because I think I'll just quit. She said, why? And I said this back in the day. This was 5 years ago. Wow. And she said, why do you think you're going to quit? And I said, because I quit everything. And she said, tell us something that you've quit. She says, you played poker for 5 years. You've done 3-year degree and then 5 years in advertising. You're doing well in it. And you've been running for the last 3 years. You played the drums for 2 or 3 years. Everything you've done, you've given a massive go at. What have you quit? Says, I might have not learned Spanish. Do you know what I mean?
I quit Spanish. I quit Spanish before I became fluent.
But you know what I mean, though? But So you've got to be very careful how you judge yourself, because you might have more resilience than you think.
Yes, that's a really good point. And that tells me that your gremlin, your inner saboteur, was really working on you over time then, because it was telling you that you were at risk for being a quitter when there was really no evidence than Spanish.
No quitter inside.
There was no quitter inside. So
you're going to fail. You're going to quit.
Yeah.
Never quit anything before. It's crazy, huh?
It is. But I think that's such a great story, because it is a cautionary tale to make sure that perhaps who you're listening to is actually you instead of your inner saboteur.
So maybe ask someone, maybe ask your family, your best friend. That's tough, asking family, do you think I'll quit trading? Do you think I'll make it? First thing my dad would say, no, don't do it. So it's a tough question as well. Like everyone said, don't do trading.
Maybe you have to be selective in who you choose. And perhaps you have to find somebody who does have experience in the trading world to be able to really look at you, look and ask the questions that are appropriate. So let's pretend they're standing in front of us now, Stephen. What would be the question? Somebody saying, I'm not sure I'm going to take trading seriously. I'm on the fence and I don't have anybody to ask. Let's pretend they're standing right in front of us now. What would we say? What would we ask them to test?
I always think of little Bram as little Bram Bam Alam. Do you remember little Dutch Bram?
I do. How is Bram?
Brilliant. He's really got, I chat to him every single day. And we take all the same trades and trade the same system. And he's just turning profitable. He lost for a few years. We'll have to get him back on. He lost for a few years, and he lost like 2 years straight. Every day he's, Mom, your brother's going to college. Why aren't you going to college? Why aren't you? And he's like, Mom, I'd love this. He's like, I love it, and I hate college. So with Bram, he's just this month made his first $500 a month. He's up $500 on his $1,000 account. But once it clicks, you start at 500, then 1,000, then 15. Bram's only 18. Like, he's not going to get more than 2,000 euros a month in his job. 1,500 in the little village where all the cows are in Holland, wherever he is.
Yep.
Because he's going to get 1,000 euros a month. He's going to make more than that trading.
Yeah.
But so when I think about questions, I always think about what's Bram got, because what Bram has, I saw myself and I saw in him.
Yeah.
And I'd say to you, what are you studying? And I'd wait for the answer, whether it's video lessons, whether it's an Excel data tracking, whether it's, just move this forward, whether it's Excel data tracking, whether it's reviewing trades, analysis, anything like that, but books.
Yep.
And I'd probably say, what are you doing? And I'd say, what are your results? And I'd like to know what are you learning, how and why? Yeah. And the final question is how much are you enjoying what you're learning?
Yeah.
How much are you enjoying what you're doing and what you're learning? Yeah. And what, based on the findings that you've had, what do you plan on doing next, and how excited are you about that?
Yeah.
And when Bram says to me, I'm sitting 3 hours a day, I'm entering these numbers of all these tickers into Excel, and I just absolutely love it. He's like, I just love it because I'm finding out the answers to the stock market. Yeah. And it blows me mind. Yeah. I'd say, right, Bram, you'll be a trader forever.
Wow. Beautiful.
That's it.
Yeah. They're great questions. Great questions. My question, I think, would probably be, a couple of questions would be, what are your expectations by way of timeline? Because I do find that a lot of times new traders have fairly unreasonable expectations around their profitability and their consistency. And that worries me, because I feel among some of those, there could be traders who do have what it takes to go the distance, but they won't, because they've put the bar at such an unreasonably high level in such an unreasonable amount of time that they are expecting themselves to deliver at mastery when they've just gotten underway. Do you see that too?
Totally agree. And I'd say, tell me 2 reasons why you're trading. Tell me 2 reasons. and one of them can be the money, but what's the other reason? And if the second reason is that you absolutely love the game, then you probably shouldn't be trading. If you don't say that you love the game and you've got two reasons to explain why you're in trading, fine, one can be the money, but the other one has to be that you love the game. And if it's not, you shouldn't be trading.
And, you know, look, taking trading seriously is something that is going to come up, whether you like it or not. Like at some point, there's going to be a reckoning, and you're going to have life or the market hold that gun to your head. And the question is, like, wouldn't it be better to find out before that moment whether or not you're really taking it seriously, so that you can navigate the jungle with the right gear? It's like a jungle. You gotta bring your machete. You gotta have a backup supply of water. You know, if you don't go into this like you're going into the Amazon jungle. You know, did you ever read Wild? There was a book by Cheryl Strayed, Wild, where she was trying to.
I've never read any books. I've read like one book.
It's an audio, so you could listen to it. She goes on the Pacific North Highway Trail. It's like this very intense trail on the West Coast, like the Appalachian Trail on the East Coast, but their version of it. And she is woefully underprepared and has some interesting situations happen along this trek. But when you think about what she ultimately discovers about how unprepared she was, she starts to adapt as quickly as possible to the reality of this trail hike being way more intense than she planned on. And I feel a lot of newbie traders are kind of like Cheryl Strayed in that book. They go in woefully unprepared, and then they have an encounter with the reality of how big a deal this is. And you could do one or two things: run back to where you started to enter the forest, or you could say, this shit's going to get real right now, and I am going to play full out. So I would say, ask yourself.
And that's the true definition of intelligence, right? How fast can you adapt to a new situation? How quickly can you adapt to a new environment or a new situation?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll probably bring it to a close there. This is little bite 3 of 4 bites that Stephen Johnson and I are putting together that are talking about trading, emotional intelligence, and we're also just talking about ways to like observe yourself so you can become a better trader. The next episode, we're going to talk about finding and building your edge on the emotional side, on the technical side. We hope we see you in that episode. Please let us know what you think about it in the comments, and thank you for watching the Steady Trade podcast.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thanks so much for watching and being part of the StocksToTrade community. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Our goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but we can't do it without you guys. So if you like what we're doing here and you want to hear more, please, please, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.